Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Dannika Warburton, and I am the Principal of Investability. We have the absolute pleasure of doing the investor relations for Leo Lithium. Today, I'm joined by Leo's MD, Simon Hay, and we're absolutely delighted that you could also join us today for this very important day with Leo listing on ASX very soon. So the format for today is going to be that Simon gives a short presentation, and then we're going to open it up to a Q&A. So we'll jump straight in and I'll hand over to Simon.
Thanks, Dannika, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the call on this milestone day for Leo Lithium, which has us trading starting in less than an hour. We're all really excited about that. It follows on from our demerger from Firefinch and the very successful IPO, where we raised 100 million Australian dollars in an oversubscribed entitlement offer and shortfall offer. So great result there. We welcome new shareholders, but most importantly, our existing and long-term shareholders really pleased to see everyone on the register, and enables us, Leo Lithium, to now focus on the development of Goulamina. Firstly, a disclaimer slide about forward-looking statements. Look, today I'll give a quick overview on the company, the project, and an update on a few key items. But as Dannika says, I'll certainly leave time for Q&A. Firstly, on our board, look, really pleased with the makeup of our board. We've got a good cross-section of experience, a long, deep experience in mining, West African experience, project development experience, geology, capital markets. So a really good cross-section of skills on our board. Over the next short while, we can expect to make a few executive appointments as I complete the executive team. So in the near term, we'll be announcing a permanent CFO. We've got Alan Rule acting at the moment, and also we'll be appointing a COO, I expect towards the end of this year. So we'll really be rounding out the exec team. Look, we describe Goulamina as a world-class project, and how do we justify that? Why is that? And I think this slide really captures the key elements of the quality of Goulamina. Firstly, I'd go straight to point number 2, really, and that's the size and the grade of the resource. We have 100 million tonnes of resource, 50 of reserve, and a tremendous grade of 1.51% lithium. And really, the project stands out for that reason. But we're building a globally significant project as well. The mine, the concentrator size. You know, if we were in production right at the moment, 500,000 tonnes of capacity that we're building in stage 1, that would place us as the second biggest spodumene producer globally. By the time we get into production, we'll still be in the top 5. A lot of the other majors are expanding their projects and their output, and that's what the world needs. The world needs this lithium. And when we go to stage 2, 800,000 tonne per annum capacity, we'll still stay in that top five level. So we will, over the life of Goulamina, be a globally significant supplier of spodumene. Some other key points: we're funded now with the capital raise of $100 million plus the 130 in equity supplied by Ganfeng already, and 40 million of debt coming. We are funded for stage 1. We've got a quality product. Ganfeng, our JV partner, has proven that they can produce battery-grade lithium hydroxide. They're very comfortable with the project and the quality of the product. So this really is another key plank in the quality of the Goulamina project. We have our material permits in place. So we have our ESIA, construction is underway. So we're permitted. We have, of course, the smaller operational and construction level permits that are still required, such as your license to operate after you've completed construction, you know, your hazardous goods, those other permits, they will be obtained in the course of normal project management exercises. I'll talk a little bit more about Ganfeng, our partner. And of course, we can't forget that we are providing lithium to the lithium-ion battery value chain, particularly to the electric vehicle value chain. And this is certainly needed as the world needs to move to a lower carbon consumption footprint over time. Some of the key financial metrics of the project that really stand out. Firstly, the NPV of the project at 2.9 billion US. Now we have to remember this was done late last year, and it's based on spodumene pricing at a very conservative level. You know, $1,250 US per ton for the first 5 years, whereas spot pricing is $5,000, $6,000 a ton at the moment. We have used a long-term price of $900 per ton. We expect that to move up over time as this lithium demand continues to grow. We're not just relying on price. You know, to build a long-term robust business, you need to build a quality concentrator and processing plant and mine. And that's the key focus of our project team over the next 12 to 18 months, is to design, build and construct a really first-class mine and concentrator at Goulamina. And that's how we get our operating cost as low as we can. At $312 US per ton, FOB life of mine costs, so that is once stage 2 is built and commissioned, though that operating cost of $312 per ton will be globally competitive. So not just relying on a great ore body, we need to build a great project as well. Talked a little bit about stage 2. We aim to build stage 1 over the next 2 years. The schedule has us bringing first production online in H1 2024. Pardon me. And our objective is to try and crunch that schedule if possible. So we, over the next short period of time, we will be looking at what we can do with the project to bring it forward. First of all, we need to design the project. The design is currently around 10% complete. So before we can accelerate the project, we really need to know what we're building and what we're requiring of our vendors and our suppliers. So that work will take a period of time. We will come out with a baseline schedule very shortly. We'll bring that to the market, and then over time, we'll update the market on how we intend to optimize that schedule. Now, importantly for stage 1, we're doing a little bit of stage 2 capital in stage 1. So we're building the crushing circuit at the front end of the process. That will be built at stage 2 level capacity. The rest of the plant is built at stage 1 level capacity. So when we get to stage 2, we'll need to duplicate the ball mill, the separation plant, the flotation plant. But that's how we keep that capital cost for stage 2 relatively moderate at $70 million US per ton. We anticipate around a 12 to 18 month gap between stage 1 and stage 2. Our intention is that we build, commission and prove up stage 1 before we move into stage 2. So the team is fully focused on stage 1 right at this stage. So Ganfeng, our JV partner, and they're a true JV partner in every sense of the word. Both parties bring their skill sets to the table, and Ganfeng's skill sets are very different to what we have at Leo Lithium, and they're very much appreciated. So, of course, they're bringing funding, but they're also bringing the technical expertise of flowsheet development. We've already seen enhancements to the flowsheet after Ganfeng were brought in as a JV partner. They're bringing their procurement expertise, of course, their offtake. Super important to have your offtake in this industry, and with Ganfeng taking 50% at the moment and moving to 100% on provision of the debt facility, that really de-risks the market element of the project for Leo Lithium. So really pleased to have Ganfeng on board as a JV partner. So funding, I've talked about Ganfeng having invested $130 million US in equity into the project. We're very close to completing the $40 million US debt facility. We expect to complete that early in July, but that is tracking really well. We're down to the last handful of terms that need to be completed, but we'll be really pleased to have that locked away. And then, of course, we have the $100 million of capital that we raised in the entitlement offer a few weeks ago. So those three sources of funds will be used in that particular order. We'll use the equity from Ganfeng first, then we'll draw down the debt, and finally we'll use the corporate funds that we have just raised. So we don't need to use that cash that we've just developed just raised until 2023. So the company is in a very sound financial position as we launch into Goulamina. So site works are underway. We've talked a little bit about this over the recent period. The roadworks are well advanced. The road has been widened. There was essentially a track in place, and we've widened that to a 7-metre haul road capability, haul road quality road. We've put a bypass around a village on the way, which is great. Takes us out of harm's way, keeps dust down in the village. So those roadworks are progressing really well. We've started the construction of the first accommodation camp, and also we've made some payments, some compensation payments to those farmers who have had their land taken up by the project, and that has been well received by the local population. We've employed 60 locals so far in the site activities, so we're starting to see this flow of economic benefit flow into the local community. And you can see there a photograph of myself with the Minister of Mines, Lamintra Ore, His Excellency, and the Governor of Boogooni over his right shoulder. This was at the recent opening ceremony, which was at site. We have a few photographs on the next slide. You can see in the bottom left here, quite a big ceremony. We had about over 500 people on site, maybe close to 1,000. And the population is really excited about the project because of the economic benefits it will bring. But the government is also very excited about not just the benefits that it will bring, but also, it puts Mali on the lithium map, and diversifies the mining industry away from gold, where they've been present for a long period of time. So we're getting a lot of really good support from community and all levels of government as we develop this project. And look, just to conclude, before I throw it back to Dannika for questions, this project is really world-class. Leo Lithium will be a pure-play lithium development company on the ASX. We stay in the ASX 300, which is fantastic. We're really pleased about that. And it's a world-class, large-scale, high-grade ore body that we're bringing into development. We're funded, we have offtake in place, and we have all our permits in place. So we're really set up now to develop the project and bring it online as quickly as we can. So really excited for today. Thanks everyone for their support. Thanks to the shareholders for staying with us, for those who've contributed to the entitlement offer. And let's hope today we get off to a good start, but we need to remember it's only one day. We want to build a long-term business here. It's a 2-year construct phase. So it's just the first milestone of many on the path forward for Leo Lithium.
Thank you so much, Simon. That was fantastic. So we'll stop sharing the screen now and open it up to Q&A. Thank you for all the questions that have come through previously on email. If you do have a question, feel free to type it into the Q&A feature down the bottom of your screen. To start with, I wanted to ask you a question that came through from Tom. He said, when considering taking on the role as MD of Leo after your tenure as CEO of Galaxy Resources, what did you find most compelling about the Goulamina project? Like, why did you join?
Yeah, look, I think of a lot of the things that attracted me to Leo Lithium and Goulamina are the investment highlights that have also attracted our shareholders. So the quality of the ore body. When I look at my previous experience with lithium mining, pegmatite seams were between 1 and 3 metres thick, and at Goulamina, on average, they're 58 metres thick. So we've got in places 100 metres of mineral that is ore. So the mining risk and the geology risk is quite low with this project, and of course the scale. 100 million tonnes, and it's open at depth and along strike. So it's not final yet. We're not capped out at 100 million tonnes. We are drilling at the moment. So that the scale, the upside potential, and I think the valuation. It's at the time, and it's moved a little bit since, but I think it's still very undervalued, and I just saw this as a tremendous opportunity to realise that true value of the project.
A lot of questions have been coming through on, I guess, this government situation. Rick, in particular, said Goulamina is set to be the first lithium mine in production in West Africa. How are the relationships with the Malian government and surrounding community?
Look, first of all, with the Malian government, we need to remember, Firefinch and Marilla have been in country for quite a period of time, and also the Goulamina project. It's not a complete startup from a clean sheet of paper. We've had a team in Mali and in Bamako for a number of years through the predecessor companies. We have a tremendous country manager in Seydou Semigat. He is, I know you've met him. He's I've worked in many countries around the world with country managers, and Seydou's right up there, one of the best. He's very well connected, and that the Firefinch relationships with the Malian government are flowing through into Leo Lithium and Goulamina. I've met the mines minister on both times I've been in Mali. I've met him. He's very professional. So look, I find the mines department to be, as I said, professional, efficient. I don't see them any different to other. I don't see them any, inferior to any other mines departments I've worked with around the world. Yeah, Mali, it has a military government at the moment, but we're hearing good, there's a lot of good meetings occurring with the leadership of ECOWAS, and we're hopeful of a solution being reached shortly and an easing of sanctions. It does seem to be, a lot of the recent meetings have been positive, but the sanctions are still in place, and we are developing contingencies to work around those sanctions if they remained in place for much longer.
Yeah, clearly very supportive, because you had them all at the opening ceremony at Goulamina recently. So heaps of questions also coming through on lithium demand. So I'll read this one that says, demand for lithium is forecast to experience double-digit growth over the next decade by most market commentators, with the notable exception of Goldman Sachs. You are obviously extremely close to the action, and your JV partner Ganfeng even more so. Do you have a personal view on market dynamics and how these could impact Leo's growth potential?
Look, I think the clearest indicator of a really positive outlook is the fact that Ganfeng have accelerated the construction of their converter, the converter that's being purpose-built to take Goulamina spodumene. So they've brought that forward by 6 months. It was originally they were going to start construction next year, but they've brought it forward. They had an opening ceremony of their own a few weeks ago. And in talking with Ganfeng, they said, they, like everyone, they saw that Goldman Sachs report, but they don't see lithium surplus anytime soon. They're extremely bullish. Their forward order book looks really strong. And, we having an offtake with Ganfeng that goes into top tier EV makers. In China, they supply Tesla, BMW, a lot of the Chinese brands. So for us, I think having Ganfeng is a real positive in that market. If there is market turmoil, they supply the top OEMs in the EV space. So we're very pleased with that positioning.
Yeah.
And accelerating that converter, that ultimately answers the question in my mind. Demand outlook looks really strong.
Yeah, it's a pretty bullish signal.
Yeah.
So this question, you recently travelled to Goulamina. Can you give a bit, I know you touched on this in the presentation actually, but how are early stage development works progressing at site?
Yeah, well, as I said, the roadworks is nearly complete. I think it's scheduled to be finished next month. Mm-hmm. The construction camp is just starting. We're about to place orders. We just received some tenders actually. We're not at the order stage yet for the second stage of the accommodation camp. That will be the main focus this year. Is the infrastructure, the clearing of the site. Fencing, accommodation. We don't really start construction until, full-blown construction of plant and equipment until late this year, more like next year. That will be the real focus area for for construction will be in 2023. The key outlook for us, where the project effort really lies at the moment is in that design phase. And, it's at the early stages, but we have an EPCM contractor on board. They're fully resourced up and accelerating the design stage right now.
Just looking through the Q&A, and that answered quite a lot of those questions. There's a question here on the upcoming catalysts, which you've touched on, but could you walk us through what investors can expect from Leo over the next sort of 6 to 12 months in terms of news flow?
Yeah, so news flow, I'll start with people. So we need to round out the executive team. So we'll be making some announcements as those key appointments come on. The GANFENG debt facility, we expect to complete that in the near term. So that will be one that we'll be talking about. We'll certainly bring project detail to the fore. So as we have more detail around the timetable, we'll bring that to the market. And importantly, we've got the drilling underway. So we expect probably towards the end of the year, we'll be updating some mineral resource and ore reserve statements, either in part or in whole. So we're focused on certainly infill drilling to upgrade the quality of the information, but we're also doing some extension drilling. So we'll bring a little bit more detail on the program, what the ore body looks like, and then a restatement of the ore reserves in due course. They're the key ones you'd expect to see this year.
Okay, and a few people have asked about the long lead items, if they've been ordered. Are we able to touch on that? Or? Yeah,
the ball mill is well advanced. That's the key one. That's critical path. Likely to come out of China, and it's in line in regard to cost and schedule. So it's under both, but not materially. So, but we need to really complete that package before we reveal too much about it. But at this stage, we're certainly in line. A number of other packages have gone out to tender, but have yet to be either returned, assessed, or awarded. So as key ones are revealed, are completed, we'll certainly bring that news back to the market.
Okay, so we've kind of run out of time. I guess in closing, are there any parting comments that you would like to leave investors with?
Oh, it's just a really exciting time for us. A culmination of a lot of work from the 5-inch team, from Mike Anderson, Tom Plant on the 5-inch side, our advisors, accountants, lawyers, hell of a lot of work to get to this stage. I know shareholders have been patient, had to have been patient in waiting for this to occur, but look, we're finally here. Market conditions are difficult. There's no shying away from that. But where we think we've priced the entitlement offer at 70 cents a share, we still think this is very attractive on a peer comparison with some of our other lithium developers that are out there with multi-billion-dollar market capitalizations. Even with their pullback, I think our 70-cent IPO pricing is still conservative and still leaves a fair bit of runway for shareholders. Who knows what today brings, but today's just one day in a long journey for us to build a long-term viable, robust business. So yeah, super excited. Thanks everyone for dialing in today. Thanks for your support, and fingers crossed for a good launch today.
It's certainly a milestone day, and as you said, the start of a fantastic growth journey ahead. I'm personally very excited as a shareholder myself, and I guess on that note, if I'm very, very happy to help other shareholders. So if there's any questions that we didn't get to today, please feel free just to email me. My email address is on the bottom of the announcements, and there will be a replay of this webinar also available on the company's website tomorrow. So we'll let Simon run off to the ASX ringing the bell ceremony, and yeah, we look forward to following the progress. Very exciting.
Excellent. Thanks everyone. Everybody. Thanks, Dannika.